Hello, older primes. It's me, Sam. I wanted to read to you a couple chapters from Kingdom of Wrenly, the 6th book. So we left off on chapter 5. So just to recap, Lucas's cousin, Princess Bella, is visiting, and she doesn't appear to be a very nice person. And Lucas was worried he was going to be stuck with her at the palace, but then Clara came and had an adventure ready for them to go on, and that adventure involved going to the stone forest. Bella wasn't too interested at first until Clara told her about all of the precious gems that they're going to find at the stone forest. So Princess Bella agreed to go under one condition, and that was that they had to travel in the carriage to the stone forest. So let's see what happens in chapter 5. It is called Pillwinkle. Lucas ordered a carriage and a driver from the royal stables. Soon the children and Ruskin and Percy were off to see the stone forest. So take a minute to remember Ruskin, who is Ruskin, and Percy. So Ruskin is Prince Lucas's dragon, and Percy is Princess Bella's annoying dog. Lucas and Clara played I Spy along the way. Bella rebraided her long blonde hair. Clara glanced at the window from time to time to check their progress. Suddenly, she leaned forward. "I see it!" she exclaimed. "The stone forest is on the other side of that river." The early afternoon sun shone on a thick forest of stone pillars and arches that towered over the landscape. "Wow!" exclaimed Lucas. "They look like the drippy sandcastles we make at Mermaid's Cove." "Only life-size," added Clara. Look at those pillars. The carriage rumbled over the uneven ground. Bella stared at the spires uncertainly. "I'm not sure if my father would approve of this place," she said. "Are there wild animals?" "Not that I know of," Clara said, "but you never know." Bella's eyes grew wide. "There are no wild animals," Lucas assured Bella. But there doesn't seem to be anyone around either. What's gonna happen? The carriage stopped a short way from the towering pillars and arches. "Look again," said Clara excitedly. The children looked carefully at the stone structures. Little faces peeked from the chinks and cracks in the stone. "Gnomes!" Lucas cried. Clara smiled and waved at the gnomes. Some of them waved back. The children hopped out of the carriage. Clara rushed to the stone towers. "Hello!" she called. One by one, the gnomes climbed out of their hideouts. The men had lovely long beards, rosy cheeks, and pudgy noses. Some of them wore pointed, colorful stocking caps. The women and girls wore dresses and had their hair in braids. The boys wore overalls. The children all wore red hats with pom-poms on top. Lucas and Ruskin ran to catch up to Clara, and Bella stepped daintily over the pebble ground in her satin shoes. How might it look if she were to step daintily? I want you to picture it in your mind and see if you can imagine Princess Bella stepping daintily over the pebbly ground in her satin shoes. So that might mean she's walking really carefully, stepping very precisely and carefully with each little step she takes. She lagged behind, holding Percy in her arms. So if she's walking daintily, that means that Clara and Princess Lucas are walking much faster than she is. "Wait for me," she cried. But Clara was already on to introductions. "This is Prince Lucas of Wrenly," she said to the gnomes who had gathered to greet them. "And this is his scarlet dragon, Ruskin." The gnomes smiled and bowed. Clara noticed that the tallest gnome only came up to her chest. Then Clara pointed to Bella. "That's Princess Bella and her dog Percy," she said. "And I'm Clara, a friend of the royal family." "We're honored to welcome you," said the elder gnome, who leaned on a pickaxe that was almost the same size as he was. "My name is Pillwinkle." All right, chapter 6. Tinker's Tower. I wonder if Tinker is going to be another gnome. Let's find out. Bella caught up to the rest of the group and teetered on the uneven ground. Pilwinkle reached out and steadied the princess. But when Bella saw his dirty hands and grimy nails, she shrank back in disgust. "Ew! Don't you dare touch me!" she cried. "I'm going back to the carriage." There's Bella being not so friendly again. Then Bella picked up the folds of her gown and walked carefully toward the carriage. How embarrassing, thought Clara. She was glad Lucas didn't try to stop the princess, and the gnomes simply acted as if nothing had happened. "What can we do for you?" asked Pilwinkle. This time Lucas spoke up. "Clara has come to learn about the stone forest for a school project," he said. "The princess and I are along for the venture, or at least I am." "We'd love to show you around," Pilwinkle said. "We only have one rule in the stone forest." "What is it?" asked Clara. "No one may enter the underground city without a guide," said Pilwinkle. "It's much too easy to get lost." Lucas and Clara both agreed to obey this rule. "Okay," said Pilwinkle cheerfully. "Follow me." So off they went into the spires of the stone forest. First, they climbed up a winding stone staircase inside one of the towers. Ruskin's claws clicked over the stones. The higher they climbed, the more beautiful the view became. From one side of the tower, they saw farms rolling across the land like a colorful patchwork quilt. Cows grazed on the patches of green. From the other side of the tower, they could see the island of Hobbs Grove. Around and around they swirled until they came to a sitting area at the top. They sat at the stone bench, and Pilwinkle pointed out some of the towers and arches. So imagine being at the very top of that spire and looking out and seeing farms below you and cows and all the green grass. That sounds peaceful. "We just climbed Tinker's Tower," said Pilwinkle. "Ooh, Tinker's Tower is a place, not a person." "Over there are Alwyn's Arch and Sim's Steeple. Beyond that, it's Sprout's Spire, and the one with the turret is Pilwinkle's Peak." How did you get a tower named after you?" asked Lucas. "Well, I guess you have to do something to help the community," Pilwinkle said. "And what have you done to receive such a great honor?" Lucas asked. Pilwinkle chuckled. "I've been the chief gnome for more than 50 years, he said. "When you've been in charge that long, you get a tower named after you. It reminds me to be my best." All right, that's the end of chapter 6. Chapter 7 is called Damsel in Distress. So think about what that might mean, and maybe you can ask your grown-ups what damsel means, and see if you can figure out what damsel in distress might mean and what might happen in the next chapters. Okay. Bye, Older Primes.